don't know, we have an assignment for our argumentation and advocacy class to give a presentation to a nonprofit organization, persuasive speech. So we decided to come here. Mario came here for the
I did urban plunge over off Kimberly site.
So that's why we chose here. So great, we're glad you did. Is that recording already?
It's going.
Oh, okay. So, good afternoon. My name is Miranda Barnes, and this is Brandon Ambrosi and Mario Vega. We're students at St. Ambrose University, and we would like to inform you today about the benefits of hiring a part-time fundraiser. An increase in fundraising would greatly benefit the Humility of Mary Shelter, specifically those homeless people who participate in its programs and services. According to firstclasskids.org, the definition of a fundraising coordinator is a person responsible for independently conducting the day-to-day operational management and implementation of all activities pertaining to fund development and fundraising. This person would be in charge of coming up with new fundraising ideas, implementing these ideas, applying for grants, getting more independent donors, talking to companies and corporations about making donations, and doing anything else to financially benefit the Humility of Mary Shelter Incorporated. The fundraising coordinator could work directly with the director on how to solicit funds, recognize donors, and keep things going on a long-term basis. According to Lisa Barnes, Executive Director of Summer of the Arts in Iowa City, Iowa, fundraising is about developing a relationship with a business, organization, or person who sees the value in what you do. A good fundraiser will work with your organization to develop the plans and goals, such as how much money is needed in the long run and how to keep it coming. He or she will also be in charge of putting together presentation materials to share with potential donors. The fundraising coordinator would be in charge of researching and applying for grants for specific areas of the shelter. It is necessary to have someone specifically in charge of this because of the time-consuming nature of the process. The fundraising coordinator would also be in charge of finding ways to increase visibility in the public in order to solicit donations. The Humility of Mary Shelter Incorporated annual reports states that from July 1st, 2010 to June 30th, 2011, Humility of Mary Shelter Incorporated had 34 staff members and 192 volunteers. However, none of them most likely have the time or specific skill set for fundraising. It is a very demanding position that takes a lot of time. According to the National Association for Music Education, it is often too difficult for people working in other areas to give fundraising the attention it needs. Jason Dick says in The Fundraising Advantage that the best way to get things done is for a person to take initiative, and that personal initiative makes all the difference. If this is true, your organization needs someone who has the time and energy to take that initiative without losing track of other responsibilities. This is why you should hire a fundraising coordinator.
We recommend that you hire this person in a part-time position because resources that are not currently available to pay a full-time position person. We also suggest that the person in question to be hired with the base salary and work on commission, so that they receive certain amount plus portion proceeds raised. The commission will help by providing incentive, and it helps the shelter because the shelter will only have to pay a portion of the total salary. In 1 year at the Humility of Mary Shelter, nearly 1,000 homeless men and women received shelter. This is a tremendous achievement, but the demands of homeless shelter services is still great, and there are many people without shelter and support they need. Because the Humility of Mary does such a great job at what it does, we would like to convince you to do everything in your power to expand these services and help as many people as possible. By hiring a fundraiser would be a great start. The main objective of fundraising would be to benefit the traditional housing and the shelter service coordination program. There is currently not enough room in the shelter to provide for everyone who needs it. There are also not always enough supplies. With fundraising, the shelter would be able to come up with a long-term plan for expansion. This would allow you to help more people. That fundraising and expansion would have to include not only space, but staff as well. If the fundraising coordinator could get enough grants and specific donations to cover the running of the shelter, any other fundraising efforts could go towards expansion. Upon entering the services of the Humility of Mary Shelter, 79% of participants reported an education or job training goal. However, only 63% made progress on that goal. With more funds, it would be possible to expand the services provided to these people and help them meet their goals. In the 2011 fiscal year, the total expenses of the Humility of Mary Shelter Incorporated was $1,170,891. This is $5,996 more than the total income of $1,164,895. This is a deficit that needs to be corrected in order for the shelter to have a good future for the years to come. A fundraiser has the potential to greatly increase the income to balance out and surpass the expenses.
Mario's got done telling about the different statistics about a fundraising coordinator and how the benefits of it, and I just want to conclude with telling you about what a fundraiser would do and a fundraising coordinator would do and the different activities and events that they can plan to help aid your shelter here. Standard ways such as grants and regular donations from people and organizations are a very good start, and you guys have already been doing those, but you can get multiple other sources of fundraising income. You could have a breakfast, lunch, or dinner event, which is where like a grocery store would cater to you, not cater, but they would give you the supplies like hot dogs, hot dog buns, ketchup, stuff like that, and you could have like a sale, and then you can market them off like $3 for a bag of chips and a hot dog and a soda or something. And if you sell it more in bulk like that, you're more likely to gain more fundraising dollars. And another more classic fundraiser would be type of a car wash. So that's another way you can get the people that are in the shelter involved and give them more ownership of what they're doing. It seems simple, but it's pretty easy way to make $500 in a couple hours on a nice day. And for this time of year, obviously, it's not a good idea, but for spring, summer, it could be very viable. You can recruit volunteers from local schools or Boy and Girl Scout troops to run it for you. You just want to have the people living in the shelter doing all the washing, however you want to do it. Another idea is to recycle cans and plastic bottles. They might not be worth a lot just individually, 5 cents each, but if you promote it in the community, like those nickels add up in a hurry. And if you have just the people that are living in the shelter, if you have them go through all the bottles and the cans, that can cut out the middleman, so you make even more profit. That's not what you guys are going for, but you make more.
That is.
You could also have a silent auction. I know that there aren't pro sports teams in Iowa, but I'm sure if you had an auction, like people from the Mallards would come and sign things, or even the St. Ambrose football team. I don't know if like little kids, they like that memorabilia kind of stuff. If you promote that throughout the community as well, that could be a big thing. Auctions that are well promoted generally have a good turnout as well. And these ideas aren't too complicated, but it takes someone with time and ambition to come up with them, plan them, implement them for them to actually work. This is why fundraising would be helpful. This person would have the time and ability to make these things happen in addition to traditional fundraising efforts. A fundraiser could also help promote and expand current initiatives such as Night at the Shelter, which I know you guys are big on, and say if you put like a Night at the Shelter on all of your signs or whatever, that could get awareness going on to what you guys are trying to do. And when all is said and done, I know that it would be difficult to come up with the money to pay for a fundraiser, but it would be in the best interest of your shelter. We just wanted to explain all of the benefits of having such a person to convince you to see if there's a way you can manage it. We believe that a fundraiser would be a great asset to your organization to help you greatly in the long run, and thank you for your time.
Good job. We would love to do a fundraiser. Can I ask a question? When you said partly pay them on commission, are you referring to